UK Federal Credit Union's Money Goals podcast. We explore a broad range of topics affecting your money goals. Some are fun, some are a little more serious, but we always try to leave you better off and more aware of your version of financial wellness.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of our Money Goals podcast. I'm Sarah Baker, and this guy here is Kash Daniel. We're doing a first ever video and audio podcast for you guys. So give us some grace if we make a couple of mistakes, okay?
Yeah, don't be too hard on us, okay? Don't be too hard on us.
We're doing this video from the UKFCU Esport Lounge right here on UK's campus.
Yeah, it's like completely changed the dynamic and the outlook of campus. And like we're walking through here, and it's like a legit studio. We're in a legit studio right here. So, I mean, it's University of Kentucky is on the up and coming, looks like.
They are on such a cutting edge. I never, ever would have imagined that gaming and esports would be and have such, be so popular and have such a presence on a university and have such a following. But there are reports that like 90% of this incoming generation consider themselves gamers of some sorts.
Yeah, I'm like the 10. I'm part of the 10% that's not a gamer. I had a PlayStation 2. Now that was like the OG days of gaming for all my 90s kids out there. You guys know what I'm talking about. So that's when like NFL Street came out, the original Spider-Man games, the original Batman games, the original Madden games like Madden 03, 04, 05, like those were lit. I played football. Well, obviously I played all sports games like NBA Live. Like that was the first game that entered like the dunk contest in the game. So it was like so cool. But my dad actually played with me when we would play like war games. So like we'd have Medal of Honor. One of them was talking about fighting the Germans over in Europe. And then the other one was talking about fighting the Japanese in the South Pacific. So like you got Pearl Harbor, you got all that. So that's honestly where I low-key became like a history geek, more into like war times more specifically. But yeah, once I got into middle school and everything, I couldn't, I had to put away the video games. I didn't have enough time. Like I really didn't. I was always playing basketball, baseball, or football. And then after that, I grew into being able to do more stuff on my own. So like I took fishing more seriously. Took hunting more seriously. I've always just enjoyed being outside, and yeah, I've played like my friends in games and stuff like that. Like we have like a couple Madden tournaments here and there, but like see how it's grown over the years. Like especially when I got to college, the dynamic of content creation. Kids are now getting paid millions of dollars just to play video games. Just to play video games. Kids are getting full ride scholarships just to play video games. And
it's not just here. It's not just at UK. It is everywhere. At universities all over the United States.
And it seemed like how much it's grown because like I've seen the Madden. So Madden used to have a tournament every year during the Super Bowl week. And that was like one of the gaming things that I would actually like tune in to watch because like it's just a bunch of blue collar dudes from all around the world coming into one room and playing each other in Madden. Like now it's where it's like, for example, like, the one part out there in the esports lounge, like where everybody's like right by the computer and everything and they're playing. That was the exact same setup for the Madden tournament.
And there were people here this morning. So I know you guys can't tell what time it is, but I mean, it's only 10:49.
10:49. Look at my cute dog.
But we were here at just a little after 10 today, and there were already people playing the console games, just really and I heard some smack talk, so I thought it was pretty fun that they were just really getting in the groove early in the morning.
I like it. I really like this whole setup, and it's going to be cool for everybody on the university's campus. I think it's cool.
And this is something that really interests you. So today we're going to kind of talk about, transitioning from where you were as a student to try to transition into almost an entrepreneur. And we know that this kind of stuff is right up your alley. It's something that you're working on. So let's start that conversation about how it's been over the last couple of years transitioning from student athlete to where you are now being an entrepreneur.
It's not been the easiest.
Right.
It's definitely not been the easiest. I'm constantly finding new ways to, better myself, and to find more of myself just because from the time I was 10, 11 years old to the time I was 22 years old, I was known as an athlete and strictly just known for an athlete. Had a personality about him, you know, with some of those interviews and different things that I did, but more importantly known as just a football player. And when you get out of that, and when something that you've held close to your heart and something that you've given your life to just tells you it doesn't love you anymore, basically. It's like that you have that girlfriend, okay?
All right.
It's like you've had that girlfriend ever since, you know, middle school or grade school. You guys grew up together thinking that, you know, life's going to be great. We're going to have kids. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. You picture it all out in front of you. And then after the last day of senior year at high school, she says, "It's been great, but it's time to go.
We're going to go our
It's
separate
gonna go our
ways."
separate ways." That's kind of how it was. And for me, as far as transitioning into what I do now, you know, I'm basically doing the things that I would be able to do if I had NIL during school.
Right.
I'm basically doing it, and it's different when you're a player versus when you're not a player, because it's all about what's hot right now. I don't know, it's different, but at the same time, it allows me to find out who I am.
Right. I mean, sometimes, you know, I've dealt with some things in my life where I thought I was going to have one particular opportunity, and instead I had a different opportunity to take. And, you know, as we go through things, sometimes we understand that maybe that one opportunity that was out of our comfort zone is just giving us a chance to grow in some areas that we weren't really afforded the chance to grow in. When I was a teenager, you know, looking ahead to college, and then beyond that, of course, I have dreams and aspirations now, but at that point, I was visualizing what things would be 5 years, 10 years later. You know, I'm visualizing what kind of career I would have. I'm visualizing what kind of husband I would have, what kind of career my husband would have. You know, I'm visualizing all of these
different
things.
stuff, yeah.
And now that I've gone past that point and then past that point again,
Yep.
it has taught me a lot that while we do want to have goals and dreams for that 10 years ahead, I take that a little bit differently than I used to. And so I don't put like certain expectations on that for what's going to be 10 years for, you know, ahead for me. I don't know.
Right.
I have some ideas of what I would like to have accomplished in that time period, but I try not to really put super, specific expectations and parameters around it, because it's been really, really fun and really exciting to see how wrong my 10-year expectations were. And so all of these 10-year challenges that keep popping up on my social media, it is fun for me to see, just because I know that those people never thought that they'd be where they were 10 years prior to that.
Right.
And it just shows us that, like, life has all of these fun, interesting things for us if we have the perspective to look at them that way.
One thing my granddad always told me, like, whenever we would get, like, I wouldn't say arguments, but I guess disagreements on things, I would always have an answer for it. And he'd be like, you got life figured out, don't you? And I guess that's somewhat. But then I look back and it's like, yeah, well, you also didn't have to worry about bills at that time. You didn't have to worry about, you know, where your food was coming from, even though some nights we did.
Right.
You know, and like you said, you put an expectation on, like, your goals and aspirations and what you want to accomplish within that time frame. And then when that time frame is up, you know, it's either A, did I get it done the way I wanted to, or B, did it completely just go off the rails in a bad way, or B, in a good way. And you got to realize that, A, what are the good things that I did? What are the things that I didn't do good? And what can I apply now moving forward with this next time frame to get this next thing done? Because everybody should have goals and things to reach, and you're never going to, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say you can't reach every single goal, because you can, but I'm saying the majority of people, there's going to be a lot of failure before there's a lot of success. And
we learn from our failure.
Better. That's the best way you learn.
The biggest lessons we learn are from our failures.
Yep.
No matter what it is, we're going to learn
Keep
from
moving.
it.
Keep moving. Don't ever just sit there and let it just dwell, because that's when you self-destruct. It's coming from personal experience.
Well, talk about a couple of things that, like, What's the best thing that you've learned in the last couple of years? And maybe what's the worst thing that you've had to learn the past couple of years as you've transitioned into creating your own brand, being professional, and being an entrepreneur in your own right?
I would say the best thing that I've learned is to be yourself. You know, don't try to portray something that you're not.
Knowing that good things will come and they will come with that
Yeah,
authenticity.
and not
So
forcing it.
exactly. So the things that you would like to do are going to be more opportunities in front of you
Absolutely.
if you continue to be authentic as you move forward.
Yeah, I just always think that like the more you try to force something, and I get like if you have that goal and you want it as bad as you want to breathe, you will do anything to accomplish that goal. Putting so much stress and so much attention on that one particular goal that you lose sight of everything else in your life, like your relationship with your family, your relationship with your friends, your health. Am I getting to the gym on time? Am I eating right? Am I drinking enough water? Am I getting enough sleep? Because trust me, I've been trying to get into what I want to get into for the past 2 years, and I've put so much stress on myself at times that the rest of my life derails because of I'm stressed and so focused on doing this one particular thing that just seems like it's not working, and I'm trying different things, different angles just to try to make it happen. And then when I finally sit back and take a deep breath and just take it one step at a time and not put so much stress of like, we got to get, going back to our timetable situation, like I have to get this done, I have to be this. It's good to set goals for yourself of like a timetable, but it's not like I'm going to die if this does not happen. It's like
Right. We have to have
yeah.
intention. We have to really make strides to get things done in a timely fashion. But it can't be the only thing that we think about. We have to, create those list of priorities.
Just find it within yourself, and that's the thing I go back to. Just be you. Be calm, cool, collective, kumbaya. Everything's going to be good. If continue to work hard, like don't mix up the messages. As you have to work hard, and you have to put somewhat a bit of pressure on yourself to get things done. At least I do. Everybody's different. I have to put myself, say, hey, I write out my days. So like in my truck, I have literally everything written out. 5 a.m., wake up. 5 minutes, 30 seconds, feet are on the floor. 5:15, making coffee. 5:30, eating breakfast. 5:45, getting ready for the gym. 6 o'clock, out the door. 6:30, start workout. Be here at 10. Go to there. And it's not to where it's like, oh, I got to get this done, got to get this done, got to get that done. It's more of structuring your day and not wasting time.
Yeah, and so right along with that, I have always preached, so as a financial institution, we have partnerships with schools and we provide educational resources, and I'm often in schools talking to younger students, and we're talking about budgets and really trying to control your own finances, personal
The
finances.
scary stuff when you're a teenager.
And sometimes it doesn't really connect because they don't
No.
have an income.
Never
But
connected with me. Trust me, we had all those talks and different things. I'm like, well,
doesn't
if I
connect
had,
until you actually do it.
it's like, hey, if I had some money, I'd probably listen to it. But it's like,
then we can talk about it.
if I got $5 right here,
Well, what I always preach to them is to write it down. I said, I know it seems old school. We live in a mobile, environment where everything's on our phone, but there's something that really helps our brains if we write it down.
can't learn by osmosis. Shout out to Coach House.
And just yesterday, I was at an event and there was a speaker and she was talking about the science behind writing things down. It physically rewires our brain. I was like, oh, dude, I was right the whole time. Like, yes, science proves it.
Yep.
So when you write your day down, it's you're prioritizing yourself, you're prioritizing your schedule, you're prioritizing your time, and you know exactly how your day should be structured. Now, does it always go that way?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
I think I'm like 15 minutes off pace right now.
But you don't have to look at that list all day. But it's because it's in your mind. You wrote it down. When I after my second child, I was really, really struggling losing the weight. And I came upon a program, and within it, it was tracking your meals.
Yeah,
And so I had
macros
to
and all
write
that good stuff.
that was the most nutritious time in my life because I wrote down every single thing that I ate, and I wasn't obsessive about it. It was just really understanding what I was taking in throughout the day.
Yeah.
But I planned out my whole day in meals, and then I didn't have to think about it because later on in the day when I was like, I'm hungry, what am I supposed to eat? I'm like, oh yeah, right now it's a banana and peanut butter. Yeah, that's what I'm supposed to have.
Yeah.
And it worked so well and so easy just because I wrote it down.
And that's the thing, as long as you stay consistent in anything you do. So now you're getting me fired up. So we're talking about food and nutrition and working out and things.
Now it's 11:23, so now we're probably starting to get hungry.
Yeah, I actually am a little bit hungry. But it's literally everything that I've found in life that I want to be good at. I know that I have to be consistent at it. And consistency doesn't mean literally every single day that you wake up. I have rest days. Everybody needs a rest day. Yeah. Your brain, your body, your mental, your soul, everything needs a rest day. But when I know that it's time to get after it, if I'm consistent with my workouts, if I'm consistent with my sleep, if I'm consistent with my nutrition and my diet, I'm going to be consistent in just about everything that I do with my day, with my time, with how much effort that I put into those things.
Yeah. Consistency to me means intentionality.
Yeah. You have an intention to do everything. It's with the purpose. Yeah. Like you have a purpose behind it. So like if anybody's out here listening and you're wanting to get like into the influencer world of things like that, I found out the hard way. And that's why I don't consider myself an influencer because I don't post every day.
Right.
When that stuff. So like if you want to get into that aspect is like the algorithm of social media and things, like I'm seeing more traction on my Twitter than I am my Instagram. Why? Because I tweet every day.
You're more
engaged
active and more engaged,
more consistent on my Twitter. So that's why I'm seeing so much exponential growth as followers and things and different things like that to where compared to let's say like Instagram or YouTube, you know, I'm posting Instagram maybe once a month, maybe YouTube, maybe once every 3 to 6 months, just because I want to be established to where I can continually be consistent because I don't want to put stuff out there where I'm not consistent. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, because at the end of the day, like I want to put stuff out there for people to help people, you know, not only with their diet, nutrition, and life in general, but you know, it's a fun thing for me to do. And I know that if I want to be able to do it the right way, I have to be consistent. That's anything you do in life. So be consistent out there, folks.
As anybody's transitioning out of this, and especially if they're going to be in that entrepreneurial field like you, talk to me about taxes. It's
the scariest thing that I've came in contact with. I now look at every check that I get. I don't look at it as the amount that's on the check.
It's not cash. It's not
no.
Sorry. Cash. It's
not with a C. Let's put it that way.
It's not that paper bills. You can't really take it all in.
It's not the stuff you can put in your pocket. But like, so like when I get a check, let's say if I got a check for $500 or $800, like I know for a fact that I'm probably going to get like $530 out of that.
And this is, you know, if you're listening, you're like, what? What is he talking about? And it's specifically because
Uncle Sam.
And there's not a company taking out taxes before they pay you.
You've got full tax responsibility.
Yeah, if you're an independent contractor, you have a business of your own, anything like that, when people give you money, pay you money, you don't have taxes taken out of it. Now, if you're in a job where you work for, you know, an employer.
Yeah, if you're on payroll, everything's like that.
They're going to take your taxes out beforehand. But if not, you know, I was in a situation where that is, you know, in my previous industry, I was in a sales industry. And so sometimes I got something called a spiff check.
Yeah.
So that came directly from a manufacturer if I sold a certain product. Sometimes I might get $5 a piece for a chair that I sold. Well, when that check came in, if it was $100, it wasn't there was no taxes taken out, and the government still has to have it. No matter how you get your money,
the government's going to get theirs. I'm telling you, you can run, you can hide, but there is one group of people you are not going to outrun and hide, and that is the IRS.
And when we are young and we don't understand that,
you don't quite comprehend it. you know, like how my dad was involved with me, like in sports growing up or in the outdoors or anything like that. There was never an emphasis on life skills or like taxes,
business and money.
yeah, things like that. And so I think that's why it's so cool that kids are being able to get that opportunity coming up through high school, like through different academies and through different, you know, extracurricular activities that they do outside of school. It's just being able to prepare yourself better for the future. And I think that's just incredible. Yeah, but taxes, man. Yeah, it's just one of those things you got to do, and if you don't, then you're going to end up in jail. So, just pay your taxes, man. That's all you got to do.
Well, here's what I did. I gave myself a 30% rule. So whenever I got a check that there were no taxes taken out of it, I took 30% of that. You know, like when I went to the bank, I took 30% of it and I dropped it into my savings account, and then the other part went into my standard checking account.
Yeah, that's how it is now. Like, so like when I was talking about you about opening up a different savings account, just for my taxes. So like I have my checking account, I have my savings account, then I have my taxes savings account.
Yes.
So like any check that I get, you know, let's say if it's that $800 check, I know that 300 and some of those dollars are going to go to my taxes savings account.
Just put it away. Don't even look at it.
And then I put the rest of it in my actual savings account, because the great thing about the UK credit union is that you have the mobile banking app. And so I can go on there and look at any time of like how much money I have, this, and that. And it's like, okay, well, I can take $100 from my actual savings, put it in my checking, good to go. So that's my thing.
Transfers.
I never put anything in my checking. Like if I'm going to cash a check, unless it's like $30, you know, or something like that. If it's like something for, I don't know why anybody would write me a check for $30, but if I did have it,
maybe you bought them lunch.
maybe, I don't know. Just cash at me in that one.
Yeah.
But so like I would put that in my checking. But if it's triple digits or anything above, you know, that's going in my savings accounts, because I know I can go back and pull as much money as I actually need, not as much money as I want, you know. So it's always there.
That's a great tip. If anybody else heard that, he does not put money in his checking account because it's not what he needs, it's what he wants.
Yep.
So differentiating what he needs and what he wants is huge.
I will say that was one of the big things that my dad did emphasize on, was knowing the difference between wants and needs. He said, always think before you speak, which I have not done too much of a good job of so far. So sorry about that one, Dad. Still learning that one. And he always talked about knowing what you want, what you need in life. And he's like, it's good to have wants. It really is. Like, you want something so bad, it's a good goal.
You push for it.
You push for it, exactly. But at the end of the day, you got to have your needs to be like your main focus. Like, what do you need? And I'm from the mountains. I need bread. I need water.
Cheese.
I don't need cheese. I need
cheese sandwiches.
Hey, I got that bread. That's all I need. Bread and a fire. That's all I need to survive.
Because you can hunt your own food.
Exactly. But yeah.
Okay, let's diverge. What's the craziest thing you have ate off the land?
Like I was, so I'm starting to see this nice young lady. I met her at the gym. So fellas, ask out your gym crush 2022. I'm telling you, it's worth it. It took me 4 months to even go up and talk to her. Trust me, she intimidated me that much, but it's worth it. Just go up there with confidence. Don't hit on her at first. Just have general conversation.
That, friends, is why he's always at the gym. He had a crush.
Well, that's 50-50. But so me and her were out at dinner. And I got, learning about her and like what she doesn't like to eat and different things like that. And she basically asked me the same question, because I started talking about deer meat and different things like that. She goes, well, what is the craziest thing you've ever eaten? And I was like, well, a lot of people don't like it when I tell them that I eat squirrel gravy.
Oh, squirrel gravy is so good.
Yeah. So I told her that, and she was like, oh my God. But yeah, I would say probably squirrel gravy, or a lot of people, I like turtle soup. Turtle soup is really good. I killed 3 ducks the other day. I pan-seared them, put them in the oven, and I like to get culinary with my stuff. It's awesome. I like my deer meat. I like making my own ground beef out of my deer, or ground deer.
Well,
it's a great, but I'd probably have to say the squirrel or the turtle.
And minus the gear that we have to purchase sometimes to hunt or fish, because it can be quite the expensive way to get free food.
It's becoming a rich man's sport. I talk about this all the time. It's honestly so sad to see, because when I was a kid, a box of shotgun shells cost $6.
Oh, the cost of ammunition right now is really, really out of control. Well, growing up, we've talked about this before. Growing up, we did, we could call it poor man's fishing, I guess. Noodling, hand fishing.
Hand fishing. That's it. My definition of poor man's fishing was the cane pole.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The cane pole, just drop it out there, pull it right back up.
Recently, my son, so we've talked about him before. He has very much an engineering mind, and so that's why he's also asked why he can't go to college. I guess he thinks he's too smart. But he created a fishing pole out of Legos.
That's awesome.
And he's dying to go back to the lake so he can test out this Lego fishing pole. Now, granted, it's actually pretty intense. It's got little gears on it that connect to each other. And he took one of the old wheels, took the tire off, and so then he threaded that with fishing line. He'll have to show you because he's pretty proud of it.
That's awesome.
So that's his free. Well, not free, but that is his quote unquote.
Had to buy the Legos first.
Yeah, we've had a lot of Legos over the years, but that is his newest invention for his fishing. But
that's awesome, though.
Yeah,
it really is.
So that's one way you can save money by going to get your own food, but sometimes it's going to cost a little bit along the way to get the tools that you need.
That's true. I mean, think about it like this. I mean, nowadays, and you don't have to have all of that stuff. You need the basic needs. Like, I will never spend a dime on scent killer, on eye paint, on anything crazy like that. Particularly for eye paint, all I need is a wine cork and a lighter. Light the cork on fire. Wait till the flame burns out. Wait about 5 seconds so you don't burn your skin, and then just use the ash.
It's just char.
It's just char. That's all it is, and it's so much easier to take off than all that. Like, it feels like glue is on your face.
Sure.
If people watch me in football, I literally painted my face, and like that was so.
And you do that for the glare of the lights.
Yeah,
right?
I did that for the glare of the lights, also for a little.
You look tough.
Little swag, a little tough action about me, but yeah, and I would have to coat it on so thick because when you start sweating and stuff, it would just start smearing everywhere. Mm-hmm. And it just looked like, okay, let's say if your eyeliner started running.
Yeah, I was going to say waterproof mascara.
There you go. So now I would have to literally cake it on there. And I did the same thing when I was hunting because it was, that's all I knew. Mm-hmm. But now it's like, oh, I'm going to take this wine cork and do that. That's cool. But yeah,
that's a nice tip. I didn't know that one either, and I grew up
deer attractants. I won't do any deer attractants. All you need is a bag of corn that you can get at the local wholesale market you can get a 100-pound bag of corn for $15. Not bad at all. Then you can go get a jar of Jif peanut butter, cut the bottom of the hole, cut a hole at the bottom of it out, take the lid off, screw the lid part into a tree where like the screw part. Like you can literally twist the
sure.
Jif in there. So screw the
lid
to the tree, and then literally take the rest of that bottle of peanut butter and just screw it into the lid, and it stays right there on the tree.
And the
deer come in and lick it out of the jar. Yeah. It's and I made my deer feeder out of PVC pipe when I was a kid.
Very nice.
So I mean, you don't need all of that stuff. Just do with what you got, and that's not hunting or fishing particularly like specific. Like if you're wanting to do streaming, if you're wanting to do content creation of any sort, it's probably not going to be the best thing starting out or the best situation starting out.
Got to start somewhere.
Got to start and just keep on continually be consistent, and then the next thing you know, a year from now, you look back at it and you're so far ahead of what you were last year. Like I was talking to my buddy, like my cameraman.
Yeah.
We went down to Florida for the bowl game. Shout out to the Kashs. Shout out Mark Stoops. And we went down there last year with a $500 gas sponsorship. $500. And Todd Mead from Patriot RV let me take a pull-behind camper down with me for free. Mm-hmm. And I always said, hey, just let me know whenever you need a commercial, or anything, anything like that, a social media post, whatever. So, okay, that's fine. We go down there with $500 to our names, and that's it. Fast forward to this year's trip. We are in an RV from Patriot RV that was given to us. And we go down there with thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars with our LLC.
That's great. Great.
And
like you can tell that like
growth.
all of that hard work over a year's time is starting to show up in different ways.
Hard work, connecting with people, being nice to people. That's been my thing, being nice to people, like
I was like,
consistently.
one thing that I learned throughout the years is relationship.
Yeah, it's all about relationships and how you can maintain those relationships and know that there is a yin and a yang in every situation.
Relationships bring opportunity.
Yeah, it brings so much opportunity.
Yeah,
if
if you're a student and you're looking at graduating in a year or two and knowing that you're going to be pulling yourself into an entrepreneurial position, relationships will bring you opportunities.
Make that personal connection with your professor. Make that personal connection with your advisor. Make that personal connection with the dude that came and spoke to the class. Mm-hmm. The entrepreneur that came in and talked about his story and everything like that. Make connections with those people. Don't force a connection. Say, I got to do this. I got to be that guy there. This woman, I got to do this. I got to do that. No. Take a bit from their story. Make that personal relationship and be nice to people.
Yeah, find one thing that makes you connected to them. And then as you start to build that relationship, quite often there are many more things that come up. It's a small world. We realize, I was talking to a professor the other day and we were having a great conversation, and all of a sudden I realized that I knew his wife from years past. Her and I had been in a program together, and it was just like, wow, the universe brought us together. It's just kind of those little things. Like, yeah, if you've got somebody coming and talking to your class, find one way to just get connected with them and see where the relationship takes you. Yeah. We started off with this. We talked a little bit about our 10-year challenge and that sort of thing, and setting goals. And you said something that really resonated with setting goals in terms of making sure that you can actually accomplish them. Mm-hmm. And if you've ever heard of something called SMART, in terms of looking at your goals, that is one of the ways that you can really decide if that goal is something that you can actually attain. Mm-hmm. When you're sitting down and you're kind of creating goals, think of this acronym SMART, and you want to make sure that they are specific and measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as as you're writing out your day, that if you only schedule 15 minutes for a podcast, that's unrealistic. No. We're never going to get done.
I got to be realistic. Yeah, you got to be realistic with everything you do, and that's goes back to me. I'm a realist about anything that I do, whether I'm talking about myself, whether I'm talking about a situation, whether I'm writing down a goal, whether I'm doing this, do that. I have to be realistic with myself. Obviously, people have a great imagination about them, and that's what I guess manifesting really kind of is. It's your imagination of things you want to get accomplished and things you want done or to come into your life and different things like that. But you got to realize, is it reality? And is it something that I can actually make happen? Now, I'm sitting there saying there is some goals that's going to scare you. And yes. I think those are the goals that you need to chase the most. I think those are the...
outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah. I think that, I listened to, I was watching a movie the other day, and the guy was talking about opportunities in life. And he said, whenever life presents you an opportunity, it's like walking up to the ledge of a cliff to jump into a river or a lake. You're either going to feel scared about it, or you're not going to feel scared about it. And when you feel scared about it, that is the exact moment when you jump. Because if you don't, you're going to stay in the exact same place the rest of your life.
Stay on the cliff.
And wonder what it would have been like if you did jump.
Mm-hmm.
So...
sometimes it turns out good. Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, sometimes there's no water. Sometimes there's no water at the bottom of that, and you just jump down on straight land.
Yeah. I think I jumped into a puddle one time.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I was able to swim my way out of that one.
Yeah, one time I thought I was jumping into a lake, literally jumped into a kiddie pool, seemed like.
Yeah, like, oh,
head first
really
dive.
Bad decision.
Head first, like Olympic diver off of a 100-foot cliff, went right into a kiddie pool.
But we learned from our failure, you and I both.
Absolutely. And the thing about it is I got a lot, and I'm sitting here talking like, like I've actually lived a long life so far. I got a lot more failures to coming, and that's it's scary, and it's also kind of relieving at the same time because I know I'm going to be better from it. But I know at the same time I'm going to have to figure out how to manage it.
If you can recognize that right now, though, it should be a relief because you don't have to have it all figured out right now.
No, that's the biggest thing too. Is just
comes in waves.
Hey, be calm, cool, collected, kumbaya, everything take care of itself. But have goals, know that they're realistic, know that it's time management available. Do your taxes. Tell your mama that you love her, and get good sleep and work out every day.
And drink your water. Don't forget your water.
Got to drink your water. I about passed out coming out of the steam room this morning because I wasn't hydrated enough.
I say, well, we both need some water, so we'll probably wrap it up. Tell people what you want them to be looking for of things that you've got on the horizon.
Yeah, so be on the lookout. As Sarah said, we have a new segment on WKYT called Players Corner Off the Bench with me. So I get to talk to some really cool high school and college athletes that are doing something outside of their sport or off the bench that they're doing, just because I kind of tie that into what I'm doing on the individual side with off season. So off season is I'm in the middle of actually rebranding it. So what it used to be was just like a series in my YouTube channel where it was like I would take athletes out hunting and fishing, because I want people to see the other side of the athlete. I want people to see the person, the true, authentic person that they're seeing there today. Not what they do on the court or the field, or not the jersey that's on their back. It's the person that I'm out there with.
And giving them an opportunity to, even find a new passion or find something that could be really interesting.
It's really awesome for me because I get to introduce so many people to a pastime for me that has been passed down from generation to generation, and I feel like I'm passing that down to them. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, Jamin Davis, who plays for the Washington football team, first-round pick, one of my greatest friends, one of my best teammates that I ever had. Me and him went out fishing, and if you guys want to check it out, it's on my YouTube channel, just my name, Kash Daniel, and you'll see off-season episode 1, Jamin Davis. And the conversation that we had was so deep. It was so real. It was so authentic while we were doing something that I loved and introducing him to him. Mm-hmm. Because he'd always talked about going hunting and fishing. I mean, all my guys did, because they saw how much joy and how much fun I had with it. And I think they were like, hey, maybe I want to experience that. So I took Jamin fishing. Then I went down to Florida to turkey hunt, and I take Josh Allen, mm-hmm. who was the number 7 overall draft pick in the 2018 NFL draft. Or 19 NFL draft, and to see the excitement that he had on his face when he got his first turkey. Because I can still remember when I had my first turkey, or when I caught my first bass, or different things like that. Like, now Jamin is texting me asking about what rods he should get, what baits he should get, what time of day should he fish, this and that, to where I know that if he continues to do that in his off season when he has time, he's going to pass that down to his kids one day, and just keeps going and going and going. The same thing with Josh. He'll be sitting there asking me about camo and about,
it's you giving
when are we going
them an
again?
Opportunity, that they wouldn't have had within football.
Yeah, it's because here's the thing, they're always on camera. They're always being looked at. They're always having to be so professional and this and that, to where now they can come with me. Yes, there's still a camera on them, but
let their hair down.
Let their hair down a little bit. I mean, if you got long hair like mine, just let it go.
Kash
Get it out
and
of that
I have
ponytail.
a contest. He's winning so far.
I'm definitely winning so far, but you get more trims than I do, though.
Oh yeah, you got to.
So, but it's it's so cool, and I'm thankful for every opportunity that I get. I'm trying to build off season more. I'm trying to start my new podcast. I met with one of my guys yesterday, and we're hopefully about to close in on a studio for ourselves. And just taking it one day at a time, just like I'm saying, don't think you have to have everything figured out at a certain time point. Yeah, it's going to come in waves. It's going to come like a roller coaster. Mm-hmm. So just ride it.
Be prepared.
Ride the wave, ride the roller coaster.
Have a little bit tucked in your savings just in case.
A lot of opportunity coming. I'm still working with Kentucky Sports Radio, so I do a lot of stuff with the pregame show with them. Mm-hmm. Staying on the sports media side of things for myself and my LLC. There's a lot of things coming up that I'm really excited about. So thank you for having me on here.
Well, hey, I appreciate you coming.
No problem.
I always say best of luck to you.
Always. Thank you.
And then for everybody listening, if you are excited about Off the Bench like we are, we hope you can catch us on Everyday Kentucky on Thursdays. So it'll come on between 9 and 10 o'clock in the morning on WKYT. Hope you guys had a great time. And hopefully we didn't do too bad with our very first video podcast.
Not too bad at all.
You can reach us next month at Money Goals Podcast. Thanks, guys.